I really believe sports has a great um, way of helping young people develop confidence. And I think when they develop that confidence, that self-worth, it helps them improve on their behavior. One player I can think of is a young woman from actually back east who was sent out here to a school for troubled youth. And they lived in a very regulated environment where pretty much every minute of the day they're under constant watch. They have to perform or they get kicked out of the school, and so it was a major behavioral modification effort. And one of the things we were able to do with her is let her play soccer on the high school soccer team here. And instead of just being this outside girl, we got our girls to rally around her and to make her feel like a team member, and gave her opportunity to actually play in games and feel a part of the team. And I believe that through that exposure outside of the school environment here, where she was with girls who were not of her social background or her religious background, that the only thing she had in common with them is the sport itself, and to play and work with them and become their friends, that had in my opinion, a very big impact on her life, which helped her turn around her troubled behavior and be able to then eventually go back and move back in with her family and begin to lead what you would expect as a more normal life. I've also seen young people who have gotten involved in sports, and something involving in their home life has been so troubled that their behavior in the sport is a way of releasing the aggression and causing some outbreak. And in those cases where they're using the sport in that manner, we've worked with them and tried to counsel with them and show them that some of the things that are happening to them both in the sport and in their life are things that they're causing. But because not all the issues surrounding the root problem are addressed, that it doesn't seem to change. And that the behavior persists despite all the fact that we would do to surround them and try and build their confidence and get them to mature and see things from a different perspective.
So you'd say pretty much that sports are a complementing factor. If you can address the really root concerns, the root problems in their life, then it is something that can really help troubled youth.
Sports are a complementing factor, yeah. I think, too, sports can be a catalytic factor where someone's in an environment that may never change. For example, I've had very young children come and play for me who you could tell their parents signed them up. They've never ever had any opportunity to do the sport. So they're just completely clueless to what's going on. And the parent is signing them up in the recreational league, kind of with the idea, well, you have to play my child, that's the rules, and so my child's going to get a chance to play, and that's about all the encouragement that they have. And to have the team rally around them and to help them play and to move on, because I've seen some really great things there where the child, even though the home environment didn't change, because their peers, kids from school who they've been thrown into a group to play in a sport, have given them enough confidence to say, hey, I am somebody and this is something I do well, and you can't take that away from me, and then watch them as they grow up. I mean, that's one fun thing about youth sports. When you start working with them and they're in the 5th grade, and you then see them through all the different grades and eventually graduate from high school. And you see them on the street and they come up to you and say, hey, coach, and how's it going? And you can see that you've had an opportunity to be a big impact in their lives because they're not getting it home. It's always heartbreaking to see a child who you work with a lot finally accomplish something, then run up to their parents to say, well, Mommy, Daddy, did you see me do that? And then still get put down. The parent having to elevate themselves by saying, oh, well, you should have seen me when I played, or that was nothing, or just totally ignore them. And that's always heartbreaking. But to see kids be able to deal with that in their own way by saying that, hey, I can go and play in this sport, and I can keep doing it. And I think of one young man in particular, not only did he not know anything about basketball, he was just very, very clumsy. His eye-hand coordination was really bad. And we drafted him in the little city league here in the 5th grade. We got our boys to kind of rally around him, and we drafted him every year until he got to high school. And every year we'd have a different group of boys. We'd always pick him, and he's short, you know, he's not very tall, and the kids will rub him on the top of the head, and they see him in the halls, and you see him around, and you can see that even though it was a different group of boys every year, the way we got them to rally around him had a huge impact in his life, and him feeling some self-worth, and the way he started to come out of his shell and communicate with the kids and see them around. So I think sports, with the right attitude as far as coaching, of not winning being everything, but having it be fun in the development, is a very important part of a person's life.